We're going to try to explain Bitcoin to you, hopefully in a way that you can understand. And to start explaining Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, we first have to go back and see what the problem was that Bitcoin and the creators of Bitcoin were trying to solve. And here's the problem. They wanted to create some sort of digital currency, a way that you could either store value or actually exchange value, and do so without intermediaries. So who are the intermediaries in the financial system that the Bitcoin creators were trying to disintermediate, were trying to take out of the financial system? And many of those were the banks, who were charging fees, and the governments, who were imposing their will, who were using currency sometimes as a weapon or sometimes at their disposal to implement things on their people. So here's what I'm talking about. Let's say you have two people, Adam and Ron, and Ron performs some sort of service or sells some sort of goods to Adam for $100. Okay, Adam writes Ron a check for $100. Now, Ron, we trust each other. Adam and Ron trust each other. I received the goods. I gave Ron the check. Now, what has to happen for Ron to actually be able to utilize the money that's represented by that check? First, he has to trust me enough to take it and to give me the goods without waiting for the check to clear. So there has to be some level of trust here. Now, Ron is going to go deposit it in his bank, and we'll call that Bank of America. Ron's going to put the check in there. The bank says, okay, we're not going to credit your account, Ron, until we make sure that the money was actually there, that this wasn't just a piece of paper that Adam signed his name on. So Bank of America is going to go all the way over here to Adam's bank, which might be Chase Bank, and say, did Adam actually have the money to begin with to be able to write this check? Chase Bank is going to check my account and say, yes, he did. Bank of America says, okay, can you please wire it to us? Money comes out of my account, goes over to Bank of America. Bank of America says, okay, we got it. They put it in Ron's account. It comes out of my account. I have $100 less. Ron has $100 more. But of course, all that is denoted as accounting entries by the banks. Now, there are fees, there's friction involved in all this. This takes time, and these banks, as we know, charge us fees for sometimes for having accounts if there's not enough balance in there. And they sometimes charge us fees for the ability to just write checks sometimes, or wire money sometimes if we need to do that, or ACH, or whatever it might be. There are fees involved. And the creators of cryptocurrency, the creators of Bitcoin, wanted to somehow get around this. On top of that, you have the idea that this $100, this dollar sign here, the value of this dollar was somewhat dictated by the United States government, the Fed, and Congress, right? They decide monetary policy and fiscal policy. So they're essentially deciding the value of the dollar. Well, that's not such a big deal here in the US, where we have some sort of faith and trust in the government to at least somewhat protect the value of the dollar, protect the fact that my dollar today will be worth roughly $1 tomorrow. But then you start looking at other governments that actually abuse that power. And if they owe debt, if they owe billions or trillions of dollars in debt, or whatever their currency is, they might just print a whole bunch of it so that they can pay off their debts technically, but what they've done is significantly devalue their currency. We've heard of triple and quadruple and quintuple digit inflation because a government just decided to print a bunch of money so that they could pay off their paper debts. So what you have is these intermediaries, the banks and the governments, creating fees and creating friction, and in that way losing a lot of our trust. So the creators of Bitcoin, this was a problem they were trying to solve. So in another lesson, we will talk about how they go about solving this problem.